regret transitioning.
I hate being transgender.
I genuinely regret transitioning.
I regret the surgery.
I do regret transitioning.
My name is Ellie, and I'm a detransitioner. I didn't actually know that I was going to be speaking right now. I just came up here because I saw so many strong women and thought I should put my voice forward too.
You've had the surgery. What does it feel like to miss your penis?
I 100% feel like I was part of some cruel medical and social experiment. I wish somebody hugged me a few years back and be like, you know what, you can present feminine, you can wear heels, hair, whatever you want, but the sad reality is we don't have technology to make you an actual woman.
If you are about to transition, especially if you are underage, please listen to this. First of all, you cannot change your sex. Take it from someone who has tried. You cannot. There's no such thing as trans periods. Trans women do not experience any of those symptoms. You won't grow a dick when you start T. You won't grow mammary glands or ovaries or a uterus on estrogen. You will have to be on hormone replacement therapy for the rest of your life, no matter how this goes, whether you remain transitioned or not, to stay on your path. The side effects are severe. I feel like only detransitioners really talk about the harmful and irreversible effects of cross-sex hormones.
5 reasons you should start detransitioning.
So when I talk about being too far gone, I don't really know what else to call it. This is what I mean. This is how deep my voice is. It's gotten deeper over time.
I'm detransitioning, and for context, this is what I used to look like.
Why did you decide to detransition? Was there something that happened?
Part of it was I started loving myself. I started really digging in and understanding the concept, understanding psychology. Like I said, I started going for a master's degree in mental health counseling, and I learned so much.
Originally born female, I transitioned to male in 2014. I lived my life as a man for 6 years until April 2020. I made the decision to make Jesus Lord and detransition.
I'm angry. What's gonna happen to the kids and the youth? And there's so many people who regret this. There's more and more and more coming out, and younger too.
I was born biologically female and transitioned to male, and now I'm detransitioning. I didn't feel like I belonged with myself. My name is Alia, and this is my detransitioning journey.
I really don't know why it's such a big deal, though.
I was born biologically female. I began transitioning and taking hormones when I was 18 years old. Growing up, I couldn't pinpoint what my issues were, and then I realized that it might be a gender issue. When I turned 18, I did go to Planned Parenthood. I just stated that I had gender dysphoria, and they gave me testosterone a week later. Before I went on hormone therapy, I wasn't required to see any therapist or any sort of a doctor at all. So about a year and a half after I was on hormones, I decided to see a therapist about getting approval for top surgery. I walked in on one appointment for half an hour, and then she emailed my insurance for approval, just like that. Even at this point, when I was passing as a man, I still had these doubts in the back of my mind that said, what if you're wrong? What if you made a mistake? In the end, I decided not to do the surgery. At that point, I decided to detransition and live my life as a woman again.
Okay, I'm gonna try and detransition myself with the power of makeup. Let's go.
Let's do a detransition update. I'm probably gonna cry again because that's what I do.
So I have a confession to make. I am an honest-to-God, genuine detransitioner.
Hi, my name is Shape. I started identifying as transgender at 22 while still in college. Before that, I was just a feminine gay man. Being asked about my pronouns led me to research transgender ideology, and pretty quickly I got convinced that I was transgender woman. I was able to get hormones relatively easily through Fenway Health and was only on them a year before receiving facial feminization and breast augmentation surgeries at 23. Taking hormones actually worsened my mental health, but therapists saw that it was because I was stuck in the wrong body.
What's wrong? What is it? Oh, I love being a woman.
Can someone please explain to me why I'm getting videos of detransitioners all over my For You page now? Like, where are y'all coming from?
I want to talk about something. I was forced to detransition. Biologically, I'm female. I took testosterone and I lived as a man for 10 years. But that long-term testosterone use gave me medical complications that forced me to face the reality that detransitioning was my only option, my real only option at that point.
Greetings, friends. Day 219 of being a detransitioned person who previously identified as a trans woman gender identity.
At 16, the very first medical intervention I ever had was a double mastectomy. A few months later, I was then put on cross-sex hormones. I am now 21. I live with constant joint pain to the point that it is so bad that I have not been able to get out of bed to go to class some days. My vocal cords ache, my breasts are gone, and I will never know if I will be able to carry a child because there's a good possibility I'm sterile.
You're trying to kill them. Break.
There is something very sick, perverted, twisted in this upside down world we live in. It is so sick sometimes. It is hard to even imagine how we got here, right? It is, damn. I mean, looking at these clips, right? These are individuals that truly, honestly have mental issues, right? They have something that's not right upstairs. Instead of giving them the help they need, they're bombarded with the notion that, oh, your problem is because you're in the wrong body, you're in the wrong gender, right? You can change your gender from male to female, from female to male, and all of that, knowing there is no way for you to do that. It is impossible for you to do that. You cannot change your gender. I mean, they can give you all kinds of, try to chemically castrate you. They will give you all kinds of hormone pills, but that is just for the moment. And now you will be dependent on these things. Guess what? They are making money off of your ignorance and delusions, right? Because you will constantly need to stay on these hormone pills and things of that nature. And even when you want to detransition, guess what? That is a lot of money also. You see? So either way, they get you. So one of them said all she needed was a hug. He, she, whatever. It gets so confusing these days, right? All he or she needed was just a hug, somebody to hug her and tell her that everything was going to be okay. Now she's made life-altering decisions that will stay with her till she dies. He, she, whoever, all these individuals, right? Even those that are detransitioning, they don't look quite right because they've done irreparable damages to themselves. You see? And all of this is being done by design. The wicked elites that run the whole show, they're the ones doing all of this. And it's all done by design. We'll come back to this clip. 6 minutes. But before we go any further, right? As always, this is the book of Proverbs, the 22nd chapter and the 6th verse. It says, direct your children onto the right path. This is in the NLT. It says, and when they are older, they will not leave it. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all you brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with the 144,000 mighty men of the house of Israel, down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in this latter days who are of the elect. And to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty, to you all I say shalom, right? Now going back to the matter at hand, it is, man, it is so sad, right? It is very sad because a lot of these individuals that decided to do these things to themselves, some of them were abused, you know, they were abused, so their own way to react to that abuse was just to totally destroy themselves, right? You know, totally destroy themselves. And now they push that ideology to other individuals out there to totally destroy themselves also, instead of giving them the help they need, right? The government and the wicked elites out there, what they do, they tell them, oh, you're in the wrong body. All you got to do to feel good about yourself is to change your gender, knowing damn well that is impossible. You are not able to do that. You cannot do it. It is impossible to change your gender. All you have is an illusion of something that is not. Because what you are born is what you will always be. That is just what it is. You can mutilate yourself. You can chop up your breast and, you know, do all kinds of abominable things to your body. Guess what? You are who you are at the end of the day. And that is what a lot of these detransitioners are beginning to find out. That all this work they put in to look different from what they are all turned out to be a waste of time. Not only did it turn out to be a waste of time, they are suffering irreparable damages because of it. Right? They've totally jacked up their bodies. They're breaking down. They're falling prey to all kinds of sicknesses and illnesses and only God knows what. Right? All because you're bought into a lie. You're bought into a lie. This is why the scriptures, the word of the Lord, is very, very pertinent in the world we live in, because it gives you direction, right? Just like the scripture here is saying in Proverbs, the 22nd chapter and the 6th verse, direct your children onto the right path. How do you do that? Well, to tell them in the Bible, there's only two genders, and that is how the God of the Bible made it, right? Male and female created he them, right? So that's just what it is. You can't get anything else besides that. Is it that you're a male or you are a female? But when children are beginning to, you know, they have all these weirdos, these groomers in school teaching them that, oh, you can transition. You know, you're not really a female, you're actually a male, or you're not really a male, you're actually a female, you know, vice versa, on and on and on and on and on. So they're not being directed in the right path. And children being impressionable, what happens? They gravitate towards that. Because their mind is very impressionable. They're very young at that age. Hence why the wicked elites, they want to get them young. Because all they do in schools is indoctrinate your children. That's all they do. And a lot of parents find that out, decided to homeschool their children, right? And in some cases, they even call it child abuse if you homeschool your child, right? Because the government wouldn't have the power over the minds of your children, because you're homeschooling them, you're teaching them what is right, where the real direction comes from the Bible, because that is where it is. It gives you the guidelines on how to live your life, what to do, what not to do. You see? So if you're able to teach children the right thing at a very young age, guess what? They will not be able, when they get older, they will not leave it, like the scripture is saying. But imagine if you teach children the wrong things when they're younger, guess what? It will stick to them like glue. You know, that will be all they know. Now, when they get older, they try to damage the younger ones also, to indoctrinate them to just be as depraved and demented as they are. Because that's what they know. That's what they know. That it's become them, right? You see? Children are paying that price. So let's quickly go back to the to this here.
Regret transitioning. I hate being.
Petition within 1 year. Please sign the petition in my bio.
Transitioning. It's not a fun topic. but I wanted to talk about it because I personally had to detransition in 2020.
I never had sex by that point, so I didn't know just what effect any of that would have on my body. But I was being treated as if I were an adult with the mental faculties to be able to consent to all this and understand what I was consenting to. But I wasn't.
This narrative that children quote unquote know their true selves, or they know their gender identity if they believe that they're transgender, or that detransition is purely due to social stigma or due to transphobia. If you actually talk to detransitioners, as I have, you'll hear the reasons as to why they have chosen to detransition, why they have regret about their decisions, in many cases having undergone medicalization. There's so many other issues that these young people are struggling with, whether it is being on the autism spectrum. They have, many of them, if not all I've spoken to, have a history of sexual trauma.
There's been as high as a 4,000% increase in.
They were sold a lie. It all boils down to that. They were sold a lie and they believed it. So as time went on, they realized, oh, I can't really change my gender. It is impossible to do so. Now I'm left with all this side effects from all the, transitioning processes and procedures that you got to go through, right? You're left with all this injuries and damages that you're not able to reconcile with. Your body has been damaged beyond repair. Like the old saying, the damage is done, right? So now they find that out, and in a lot of cases it's already too late. It's already too late. There's nothing that can be done now. You just got to live with your broken self. That is the regret right there. You just got to live with that broken self and know that a lot of them have been, they will not even be able to bear children anymore, right? I mean, it's just insane, which goes back to population reduction. So this is all part of population reduction, because if they can get you to think that you're not the gender you're supposed to be and have you mutilate your body and chemically castrate you, guess what? You won't be able to reproduce.
Children being referred to so-called gender clinics across the United States. I was one of these children. My name is Chloe Cole, and I'm an 18-year-old former transgender child.
Listen, I believe that I wasted the best of me on your baby, you don't care.
3 things I wish I knew before I transitioned to male. 1. That injecting myself with cross-sex hormones actually was harming and damaging my perfectly healthy body. 2. That changing my identity and changing my body wasn't actually going to heal the pain I had within myself. It was just an escape that created actually more trauma for me. 3. That it was okay to be a tomboy and not fit into society's beauty standards of what a woman was supposed to be like. That I was perfect the way I was and I didn't need to change myself.
Can we begin to understand?
You see that? She basically messed up her perfectly good body, right? And she's beginning to regret it all, and she's saying that it was okay for her to be a tomboy, to just be who she was, right? Because there's a reason they push that beauty standards. They have all this Miss Universe and Miss World and all this Victoria's Secret models, right? The model type bodies, right? Now a lot of women, they're beginning to understand that, well, I cannot really be like that. So it messes up with your mind, the beauty standards, right? So it messes up with your mind. What do? Well, you rebel, you totally go against all of that. Instead of just being who you are, you just be like, F it all, I'm just gonna mess up my body and just be a man now. Or a man would say, I'm just gonna be a woman now. So all of these things are done by design. It plays on your mind, it plays on your emotions. Next thing you know, you're making life-altering decisions that will haunt you forever. You see?
And today from these discussions, how destructive this is to the psyche. It's no wonder they end up with separation anxiety and bipolar disorder, dissociative disorders, schizophrenia, and many other disorders that they want you to ignore. They want to block any child from having access to psychotherapy. The only reason that I'm able to speak to you today is because after 46 years of dealing with this issue, I was able to detransition in 1990.
That would be all the people who encouraged me to transition and then ghosted me after I detransitioned.
How do I feel about my detransition?
How many times are you gonna ignore the signs and people run? Your niggas are retarded, he slid and left his knife. Your mama must have dropped your ass.
So this is a question I get asked often, and I kind of wanted to start a conversation about it because I think that it's kind of a taboo subject. It's not talked about a lot.
Transgender reality star Jazz Jennings.
And you can see the pain in their eyes, even though they're trying to play it off, right? You can see the pain in their eyes. So now that pain has compounded for whatever they were trying to run away from, to, whether it's child abuse or whatever it is they were running away from, thinking that changing their gender was going to make it better, right? Now it has compounded, right? The pain is getting even more worse because now you're finding out that after the process, the crazy process we've gone through to change your gender, you're still not okay. You still haven't healed from whatever pain you've been going through. Now you have another pain, pain on pain on pain to deal with. So it's in their eyes right there. That's why a lot of them commit suicides, right? That's why a lot of them unalive themselves, because what they thought was going to be their way out, their escape from this pain, only brought about more pain, more sadness. Now you feel all alone in this hell you've created for yourself. Now you got to deal with it. A lot of them can't wake up knowing they still have to deal with this pain. So instead of, the world or the government, their parents, a lot of them, their parents, co-sign them doing this to themselves. So instead of them getting the help they needed, guess what? They were told a lie. And now they have to deal with all of that. It is unbearable for a lot of them. So some of them just unalive themselves. They become bipolar. They become all kinds of stuff. The demons take over.
Reveals they are unhappy with gender change surgery and hormones. How much longer are we going to continue this madness? How many children are we going to tell that they're born inside the wrong body?
And now I can sit here and look back and be like, why did I do that? It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. I can't have kids.
No, I'm not the same. I think I done changed.
Consequences as well. Yeah, I think a lot of things have more consequences than we would ever know. As a parent or as a doctor, you could just be like, okay, let's put our child on, or this child on hormone blockers. But the thing is, we don't even know what that's going to do. And if that was used as chemical castration on criminals, and also gave osteoporosis to a young teenage girl from using it, then there's a problem there too.
See that? You see that? That is crazy right there. So something that was used for chemical castration on criminals are now being used on your children. What do you think that's going to do? That's why she's talking about the consequences. Of course, there's always got to be consequences, especially when you're trying to tweak your body in this type of way. You only have one body. It's not like you have a spare parts. And in the closet, you can, and a spare body in the closet you can just change into if this one doesn't work. There's only this one body you got. And here you are putting things in it that would damage it for life. There are going to be consequences. Well, the young individuals, they're not even thinking that far, right? It is for the elderly, the people that have been living longer, to know that, man, You only get this one body, right? You need to take care of it, to tell them these things. Now, the ones that are supposed to be giving them the good advice are now telling them, oh, it's okay to just put you on hormone blockers and, chemically castrate you and chop off your titties and, chop off your plumbing. Oh boy.
My name is Prisha. I'm with myself testifying on behalf of gender non.
If you don't know who this is Prisha. I would highly recommend following her and listening to her story. It is heartbreaking.
So I realized I wasn't trans when she, her pronouns didn't phase me.
I recently detransitioned. I stayed on testosterone for 5.5 years. My kidneys and my liver began to fail.
My health issues have kind of catapulted this decision a little faster. I decided to detransition.
Medically detransitioning has been one of the hardest things that I've done, to be honest.
Hey everyone, so I'm going to do a response video to this comment of why I detransitioned.
I came here to share my story about my detransition.
7 months in, I completely stopped altogether. I was really afraid because I felt my testosterone was going to go back in. I got my blood test a month later and found out that I didn't. I was super happy, super happy. But now we're going to try testosterone. I'm really scared about it. But we're going to try it.
Pushing a medical process that if a child gets on it at 14 and lives to 85, that generates $1.5 million in synthetic hormone. Did you guys get that? That doesn't even cover complications. It doesn't cover surgery. And yet you call him a bigot. And you don't talk to me. You show all of the people trans women are women. We need to let children have the time to learn to love their natural bodies and embrace their differences. Because the truth is that the kids that are wanting to medically transition are the most vulnerable parts of our society.
This is absolutely heartbreaking.
It is. It is. Absolutely heartbreaking. It is, man. It is sad to see, this individual. You can just tell the pain in their voice, the pain in their eyes, the pain, of the thing. You can blame them, say, oh, you fucked up yourself or whatever, blah, 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 right? Then again, the environment, who created the environment for them to think that it is okay to do that to themselves, right? Who created that environment, man? You see, this is Proverbs, the 22nd chapter and the 15th verse. It says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. So a youngin is inherently just foolish because they don't know any better, but the rod of correction will drive that foolishness away from him, right? But when you are now advocating for that foolishness, when you are telling them, oh yeah, it is okay for you to be foolish and think foolishly, thinking that you can change your gender, guess what happens, man? That is a recipe for them to destroy themselves totally, man. Let's look up this in the NLT. There's a recipe for disaster right there, because the child is already foolish and now here you are co-signing their foolishness. This is in the NLT, same chapter, Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, and the 15th verse. It says, a youngster's heart is filled with foolishness, but physical discipline will drive it far away. You see that? So, a lot of parents discipline their child, right? Now, it is called child abuse when you discipline your child, right? Well, you're supposed to do that. It teaches them. So the government knew what they were doing when they made it to a point where a child can just call the child protective services or the cops to come and arrest their parents if they were being disciplined for doing something wrong, right? They knew what they were doing because that creates that avenue for the youngsters to think that okay, they can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. You see, now they're thinking, oh, I can change my gender. My parents wouldn't, they wouldn't have no say so because all I got to do is pick up the phone and call and say I'm being abused. My body, my choice, right? Well, now look at the result of that. You've destroyed yourself. And the route of correction would have easily straightened you out. Now, you've totally destroyed yourself, and there's no way to turn back the hands of time, so to speak. You just got to live with that stupid and foolish decision you made, thinking you can actually change your gender. You see? Now, you're dealing with health issues. And the same people that told you that you are able to change your gender, guess what? They are cashing in, raking in money from all these failed experiments. Whether you're detransitioning or whether you're transitioning, guess what? That is money in their pocket. You see? Money in their pocket. This is Proverbs, the 29th chapter, and the 18th verse. It says, when people do not accept divine guidance, they run wild. This is in the NLT. So when the people do not accept divine guidance, where do you get divine guidance from? Well, in the scriptures, in the Holy Bible, is where it tells you how things are supposed to be. So we won't be living in an upside down world, right? We're living in a very upside down world. And this is the result of that. People don't even know who they are anymore. They can't, thinking I'm a woman, I'm not a woman. Like the confusion. Why? Because there's no divine guidance. So they run wild. They're just out there, crazy, looked out, bugged out of their minds, man. It says, but whoever obeys the law is joyful. What law? The laws are written in the Bible. A man should be a man, a woman should be a woman. A man should not wear that pertaining to a woman, right? And a woman should not wear that pertaining to a man, because that is the blood lines, right? When you start wearing, men start wearing feminine clothes and women start wearing masculine clothes. Next thing you know, they start thinking, oh, well, I can take it a step further, right? Well, in the law, it tells you that you shouldn't do that. It's an abomination. See? Because there is no divine guidance. Now, everything is all out of whack. Which brings us here in Psalms, the 82nd chapter, and the 5th verse. It says, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So we are living in a very sick, perverted, upside down world. That's just what it is. Very sick, twisted, perverted, upside down world. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Nothing is as it should be. When people don't even know who they are. They don't even know if you're a man or a woman it's just effing crazy. All these pronouns, all this craziness, man. Mental issues are being treated as being a hero. Here it is, you have obvious mental problems, but you're being called a hero for that. That is how all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Nothing as it should be. Now you have all these people detransitioning, losing their minds, man, because they've done to themselves what they shouldn't have done. Now you got to pay the piper. So this is a cautionary tale to be very aware of the world they live in and know how to move, or else this world will swallow you whole, man, and spit you out, man, spit your bones out. And with that, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.